Zero to Hero. Everything you need to know during your process to becoming an airlining transport pilot by Tyson Mickey. The Road to the Show. The pathway to becoming an airline transport pilot is built on building blocks. These building blocks, like the private pilot license or instrument rating, are different licensure and certifications needed to qualify for the ATP. You begin with your private pilot license and then moving into your instrument rating. After you've completed that, you go to your commercial pilot's license. This allows you to get paid to fly. During this or after this, you go into your multi-engine add-on. This allows you to fly aircraft with more than one engine. After that, you have your CFI, your Certified Flight Instructor. You build up your hours, fill out the remaining FAA minimums, and then you can qualify for your ATP. Picking a good flight school is something you should always keep in mind during your flight training, and you're going from each license to each rating, doing different things in different aircraft in different places. Flight schools vary on price, structure, maintenance, quality, instruction, etc., etc. So it's great to find what's the best fit for you. After all, you're the one spending the money. The outlook for this industry is very, very promising. Over the next decade, you can expect 18,000 pilots to be hired for major air carriers worldwide. The median annual salary is over $200,000 for US-based pilots. Domestic air travel has increased 16% since pre-COVID numbers and is expected to keep increasing year by year. On average, pilots get 16 days off a month. That is a lot of time off. And a lot of those times they're getting paid still. Pilots can also expect around a 5% pay increase each year. And also in some airlines and some companies that compounds on itself. So it's very, very, very lucrative if done correctly. Oh man, I get to travel, fly new places, get paid well. Where do I start? You begin with your private pilot's license. The eligibility requirements are that you read, write, and speak English fluently. You have to be at least 17 years old, pass a comprehensive FAA medical. So there's different types of medicals: first class, second class, third class. Once you qualify for one, there is basic med. There are a bunch of different ways. The FAA really encourages you to fly at this level, the private pilot level. Furthermore, you must pass an FAA written exam. It's not too hard, but it does give you all the background knowledge that you need to know about becoming a pilot. It includes things like aerodynamics, airspace, etc., etc. Your actual flight training can be completed, Part 61, in as little as 40 hours. When you go to universities or large training schools, they're called 141 programs. They are held to much higher standards, but have different minimum requirements. There, you can earn your private pilot's license in 35 hours, but typically they are much, much, much more expensive. While you're building your hours, you go through a student pilot and solo stage. The exam has a written component, which we just talked about, an oral component where the FAA examiner, called the DPE, designated pilot examiner, asks you questions all about your private pilot's license. Your privileges, what you can do, what you cannot do. It's just an oral test. Once you pass the oral, you go into the practical exam. This is where they see your flying skills. They put you in various scenarios and various situations to see how you react. You have to follow what's known as the ACS, or Airman Certification Standard. It's basically a rubric, and it shows you what you need to do in order to pass your testing. This is the same for all licensure at this point, except for the CFII exam. Yay, you pass your private pilot check ride. You now have the license to learn. Now it's all about becoming a safer pilot. The purpose of your instrument rating is to do just that. It enhances pilot safety by increasing knowledge in the aircraft systems, good judgment, and decision-making skills. There are a whole bunch of things that go into flying in adverse weather conditions, and having this rating not only legally allows you to do so, but might also save your life while you do it. The exam components are the same, and the education and training route is also pretty similar. After your instrument comes your commercial pilot's license. This allows you to finally fly for hire. Yay! You can make back some of the money that you spent on that expensive flight training. However, you are held to certain legalities and rules, mainly common and private carriage. This stops any Joe Schmo from renting an airplane and starting his own airline. There are many rules and stipulations that you must abide to, but generally, the commercial pilot license does allow you to fly for hire. It also opens the door to larger and more complex aircraft and allows you to build time and experience towards your airline transport pilot's license. The primary goal of the commercial pilot's license is to develop advanced flight skills, intuitive aircraft control, and supreme judgment. All these things need to be second nature, especially when you have passengers on board. The eligibility requirements also increase from 17 years of age to 18 years of age, and you must hold at least a second-class medical. The multi-engine add-on. You headed to Twin Town, staying at the Holiday Twin, maybe sipping the Twin and Tonic. The multi-engine add-on is some of the most fun flying that you can do. It allows you to fly aircraft with 2 or more engines, which typically happen to be much more larger and more complex. In fact, the aircraft in this photo is a Beechcraft King Air 350. This aircraft costs about $7 to $8 million. Yes, a lot more than the typical 172s that you've been flying up to this point. The multi-engine add-on also opens the door to jets and type ratings, and it's just an all-around great license to have. The Certified Flight Instructor license comes in many different flavors. The 3 of the most popular are the Multi-Engine Instructor, the Instrument Instructor, and Seaplane Instructor. This allows you to get paid to fly and create new pilots in the process. What is there not to love? Congrats! You made it. You made it to the big leagues. Now is the airline transport pilot's license. You've made it to 1,500 hours. You fulfilled a multitude of other requirements, 50 hours of twin time, nighttime cross country, PIC, and the numerous other ones that are there. This allows you to operate the largest and most complex aircraft. Think of your Boeing 737s, your Airbuses, and everything in between. It requires extensive training, but is very lucrative. This is where you get your payday. It also is the most difficult check ride because it's a cumulative check ride of everything, and the stakes are as high as they've ever been. Your ATP license is the true beginning of your pilot career. So I have my ATP. What are some things that I can do? Well, in Part 91 operations, this is all the smaller ones. So in Alaska, Montana, maybe you're flying in the Arctic Circle even, like this aircraft. This is a Twin Otter, I believe. It's on skis. So they're flying out there, they're delivering cargo. That's super fun. Definitely some great stories to tell your grandkids one day. Part 135 flying, think of that as your corporate jets. So you could be flying for Bill Gates or somebody else in between. Corporate jets, I believe, are some of the nicest jets in the entire world. They certainly go the fastest, and they definitely take you to the most strange places. Part 121 is what you think of when you think of your typical airline pilot. So your Deltas, your Southwest, your American, United, etc., etc. 121 typically pays the most, but are some of the hardest jobs to get. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with your ATP, and you should never feel constricted to one type of flying. So just a quick recap. Flying is fun. Flying takes you many different places. The pay can be incredible. The experience is unimaginable and leave you with a lifetime full of memories. However, it's not for the easy and it's not for the weak. Aviation is difficult. The training is very expensive. Typically from 0 to hero, it can cost you anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000, depending on where you do it and how efficient you are. Aviation is also highly regulated, down to every nut, bolt, and screw. There is a law and there is a rule about something, and you are required to learn about just about all of them. There's little room for error. It's not like you can mess up on the job and be okay. It's your life and the life of your passengers on the line. Also, recurrent training. So you always have to be up to date. You're never allowed to slack on any of your training, especially once you get to the 121 airline environment. However, this should not scare anybody away from becoming a pilot, but it should definitely make you more strong on your decision. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a lot.